It's official. The Australian government has passed a controversial social media ban for under-16s, raising concern about its speed and lack of consultation. But does this new law truly protect our children online? Joining us today is Craig Ford, co-founder and executive director of Cyber Unicorns. Why do you think the government rushed this through legislation through Parliament? Take us through what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a surprise. I was really not expecting them to push it so hard. I believe, there was rumours that they were going to really try and push it through quickly, but I believe it's kind of more around sort of the appearance that they're doing quite a lot in this space, more than actual doing a benefit in this space. Like, I love that they're talking about it, but I think they could definitely do more. But yes, on Thursday, the last day of sitting for Parliament, they pushed it through with 33 other bills at once, which was a little concerning if you ask me. I don't think it's the right move. I still think they should have done more consultation with the industry. Essentially, they opened it up for just one day for the public consultation, and they did receive 15,000 responses just for one day. So it kind of tells you the feeling of everyone in sort of the industry and the community that this is a pretty important bill and raises quite a lot of concerns there.
Of course, on the surface, this seems to be a great idea. We'll protect the children from mental health concerns and scrolling endlessly on TikTok. But what concerns do you have about the one-day public consultation process that was also implemented?
Probably my biggest concern, myself, I believe 100% that education is 100% better than doing the legislation. This ban will essentially push all of these teens to, most of them that will still probably continue to use it, push it into the background and do it as a bit of a hidden thing that they're still going to do. Even if they move off the particular platforms they're naming, like TikTok, Insta and Facebook, essentially they will find new platforms and then they will stop talking about it. That's the biggest concern I have. Is we've been working for years and years trying to go, let's have open, friendly conversations around this. What behavior you're doing, what activity you're doing, and they're going to cut all of this off because it's going to be a bit of a shame thing that's going to be illegal, essentially, for them.
Exactly right. So why would you tell your parents or anyone else for that matter? But how might the lack of industry involvement impact the success of this law? Take us through a little bit about the machinations of it.
Yeah, I think probably some of the biggest concerns, and I was at the Australian Cyber Conference last week talking to probably 200 or 300 of my peers around this sort of the ban just before they sort of pushed it through Parliament. And pretty much the same consensus. It was really, they should have been talking to us around, how can we sort of find the right solutions? Yes, we all feel that, social media, there's a lot of bad stuff there, and we all think that we need to be doing something, more parental controls, more, monitoring, or more tools from the social media side to kind of protect ourselves and the kids. But this approach that they're doing is kind of concerning because it is literally just a blanket ban for under 16s. It's not really going to change any of this. They're still going to be doing it. So I really don't see the benefit, and the fact that they didn't do that wider industry consultation about potentially better ways to approach this, I think is a bit concerning. There seems to be I've had a few conversations with a few colleagues from that conference, and essentially a lot of them were saying there's a bit of a hidden agenda around the, digital ID and things like that. But I don't know too much about that. But I think that is a potential push to try and get us all authenticated in that social media's platforms, including adults, because we will all have to do that. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, it is 2024, but you talked about the cyber conference last week when this bill was passed on the importance of really embedding cyber awareness education into schools. What alternatives to a ban do you think would have been better off to protect under 16s online?
I think the best approach really would have been that education, not legislation. If we could, at the moment, like you say, in my particular, that talk I did with Kyle Waters, essentially what we did is we had a look at the current curriculum with the IT and cyber that they do in the Victorian schools. And essentially what it does is it only really gives you the basic how computers are worked, how they're connected together, and a little around programming and software design. Nothing really around cyber awareness and cyber education like you would get in a corporate kind of environment. So I think the best idea would actually to embed in the school system, doing the same kind of cyber awareness, but a little bit more tailored towards that younger primary school market than the teenage market, and give them education that will teach them how to be safe and how to behave a little bit better in that space. The just blanket ban is 100% the wrong way to go. I think it's definitely education.
Absolutely. Craig, anything else you wanted to add before I let you go today? And obviously there'll be a lot of scrutiny going on over the next few months, I imagine.
Yes, definitely. I think we'll be all definitely watching, and I think probably just to wrap it up, I believe now as a cyber industry and a community, I think it's up to us now to kind of pick up the pieces from this particular legislation that's going through and sort of probably work a little bit harder to try and push, let's have those open conversations with these kids and, try and avoid them to be sort of pushed in that background as much as we can. Because I think that is going to be set us back 5 or 6 years of effort trying to bring those conversations out. So let's pick up the pieces together and let's keep pushing forward.
Absolutely, and that call out goes to educators and parents alike. But thank you again for joining me on the program and outlining a little bit more about what all of this means to the people.
Always a pleasure.